What's up, YouTube? It's your friendly neighborhood GM, your host, Coach Key, and welcome to Legends and Dice Cafe, where we learn about tabletop RPGs from old school to modern and do lots and lots of solo gameplay. Back with my weekly video like I do every week on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And today's video, I'm going to share with you some of the footage during Momocon. And I thought it was only right that I rocked my Momocon shirt. And as always, if you're digging the content, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It makes YouTube think that I'm pretty freaking cool, okay? So, and don't forget to also follow us on Facebook at Legends of Dice Cafe. At the end of the video, I'll share with you some of my takeaways, some of the things that I learned that I will not do next year when visiting Momocon or honestly any convention. And if you'd like to further support the channel, make sure you hop on over to Patreon and subscribe. Oh, and my spouse and I have a bet going that we're going to see which one of us can actually do the best intro for the new intro. So I'm going to be working on a new intro, and we're going to post our intros on Patreon, and that way you guys can vote on them and let us know which one you like the best. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the video, and definitely stay tuned at the end for my takeaways. Let's get it. Here we go. I haven't rode the public transportation down here in Georgia in such a long time, so that was pretty cool. So I had some money to the side to grab some books. I didn't grab any books, but I did grab a fresh new pair of dice. Not only did I grab a pair of dice, I got a chance to experience Dungeon Crawl Classics for the very first time with a new friend of mine, Foxy. I played with a really cool bunch too. Lots and lots of people were there. Super cool outfits. I didn't really get the best footage, but I tried. Plus, on top of that, everybody was super cool. Just there to have fun. And check out my cool setup for my game. And of course, I had to put a picture of me just in case they didn't know which one I was at the table. My first bunch of players that I DM'd for in person, they were super fantastic. Here's my second fantastic awesome bunch, minus 2 individuals that left a little earlier before the game actually ended, and some cool pictures of me. I also noticed that I think that I smile a lot more than I think I do. And this was my last group. They were also really awesome to play with. Great experience.
Those frog people hovering around him, and they also have another kind of looks like a sacrifice. So you're able to see that it looks like he's getting ready to be sacrificed. They have a fire going. Well, she has to come back up too, or you can leave him there and just loot him when their back are turned. You know, drags him in, and the door shuts. What do you guys want to do?
And oh my god, downstairs area, the last day I got an opportunity to really look around, and there was so many things to do down there. They had the VR. I definitely didn't want to do that because even though they were in their specific stations and areas, I'm pretty sure I still would have hit somebody by accident. So I skipped out on that, but it looked pretty cool. It looked like they were having fun. And another awesome area, they had a free area where you could play video games, these type of video games. They had console video games, Nintendo, PS5. You could even play on the computer as well for free. I wish I would have spent a little bit more time down here in this area. As you can see, I got there super early for my volunteer shift, which was also super cool. I did get in some video game play. I think I played Pac-Man for a little while, but there were a lot of other games that I wanted to play. Oh man, and I found this section downstairs full of nothing but board games. You give them your ID and you just pick a board game from the table and you just take it to the table and somebody will come and play with you. And they had tons of different types of board games. They even had a raffle, which I wasn't able to stay for. But once you pay the game, they put your name in a raffle and you were able to win one of the games that people were playing, which was pretty cool. But they had a lot of really cool games and they had some for sale. None that quite sparked my interest, but they definitely had a nice variety of different games to pick from. And I came across this amazing artist creating her art with chalk. Like I said, it was quick footage, but hopefully it gave you a little bit of an idea of what Momocon has. That was my very first convention that I've ever been to. So my first anime gaming convention that I've ever been to. And I thought it was pretty cool. And I think the tickets ran about, my spouse came on Sunday and they paid about $50. All the things that they had available, they had different panels, D&D panels, all different types of panels. So they had a lot going on. So for 50, and on top of that, playing free video games. So for $50, I don't think that's a bad deal at all for everything that you get a chance to experience there. Now check this out. I volunteered 16 hours so that I could get a free pass. Remember, I had no idea what I was going into. Friday, I wasn't able to, no one signed up. I was doing intro D&D table, and no one ended up signing up enough for me to run a game on Friday, which is why they ended up putting me in a game as a player for Dungeon Crawl Classic. And shouts out to my new homie, Foxy. They were such an awesome DM to play with, especially for my very first time playing Dungeon Crawl Classics. And I had a really good time. And the group of players I played with was really cool. So I had a cool time. And I got an opportunity to roll some of those funky dice for the very first time. And I don't know why I didn't think to bring my own, but I didn't think that I was gonna have time to actually play in a game. Next year, I would love to, or the very next convention, I absolutely would love to join in some new games that I've never played before because they had a lot of different things there. The second day I ran 2 games, and then my third day I was able to run 1 game. These were my very first time running games in person, and I honestly had a great time. It was super cool to be there to actually see the expressions on people's faces, because I can hear them over the phone. It's definitely a different experience in person, and I loved DMing in person. Absolutely. One thing that I did start to do while I was there was, because I had my Dungeon Master screen, and instead of having my Dungeon Master, instead of rolling my dice on my side where I was the only one I could see it, I just put my dice tray on the other side of the DM screen where everyone else can see it, and they would watch. They had their eyes locked on my dice until it stopped, which I thought was pretty cool. And it's also a different situation running games online as opposed to in person when everyone's looking in your face, which I didn't mind, but again, definitely a different experience. So what I would do next year differently is, hands down, I would not volunteer for 16 hours at all, because it didn't give me a chance to really enjoy all that came with visiting Momocon. So I still want to run games, but I would rather just pay for a ticket for 1 to 2 days, possibly 2, because it was a lot of walking around to do. So I would absolutely pay for a ticket and just maybe run 1 or 2 games for the weekend. That's it. If you don't already know, I'm running Dragon Heist, and once Dragon Heist is done, I'm going to be running a few one-shots, maybe part 1 and part 2, and I'll be definitely posting it inside of the videos when I am looking for players, just in case some of you guys would like to join the game. So stay tuned. For the next convention, I would absolutely run something other than D&D. And here is the DM screen that I was using at Momocon. I was running all the adventures that I ran were in Chalt. Another thing that I would do would be to create a few rules, so we could go over the rules before we start the game. Another thing that I used that worked really, really well is, of course, I took my cool board with my dry erase markers, and I had these really cool bottle caps. I wrote numbers on them. It's just mineral water. Yeah, so these worked out fantastic. And another thing that came in handy were these fantastic, awesome dry erase index card. And that was pretty much the gist of my experiences at Momocon. And next week, the Patreons get an opportunity to vote on the video that I'll be doing next Friday. They vote every other week. So if you're interested in doing something like that, on top of another way to support the channel, definitely hop on over to Patreon and subscribe. Legends and Dice. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on anything cool that I drop every single week. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time out to watch the video, support the channel in many different ways that you do, from liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. So I appreciate all of the support, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a super fantastically awesome weekend, and I'll see you guys same time here, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and talk to you guys later. Peace.